Hello, fellow travelers. This is Veronica from Human Design Journey, exploring the place in us which we can trust to take decisions as ourselves. And we're at a very interesting and unique decision-making process, which is called Lunar Authority, and it is very particular. It's about trusting your body in the now through a 28-29 moon lunar cycle period to gain clarity and enough probing, enough measurement so as to get to a point of clarity of what's correct and what's not correct for you. So the Lunar Authority is only with the reflector, and it is directed by the movement and transits of the moon. The reflector gets conditioning from all the transit field, all the planets, like all of us, of course. But the biggest conditioning field is the moon as it goes through the 64 hexagrams within 1 month, thus activating all the sleeping gates of the reflector. This is why the pattern of the moon is the biggest conditioning force, and at the same time, it is where the authority of the projector lies. It's in the strategy to wait out this lunar cycle as to gain the wisdom of the time and the answer and of the time through which the reflector is scanning the answer to the question, who am I today? Because every day I'm different. Every 8 to 12 hours I'm different. The moon changes gate every 12 hours, roughly 10, 12 hours. So there is a pattern that turns on and off and must be learned like a song or verse of the life force. This pattern repeats itself every 28, 29 days. So following it while considering a decision gives many different perspectives. And without a consistent life force, you would say that the reflector is completely helpless, but the Lunar Authority actually, requiring a deep understanding of how the planets bring energy into life, can be that aligning force, that grounding energy, which gives stability at the end to the projector, to the reflector, excuse me. So a reflector can begin to see how the pattern changes them by observing their life through one or more lunar cycles. Thus, they begin to feel their deep connection with nature and the stars and the program and the cyclical movement in nature, because everything in nature is cyclical as well as the moon. The environment is the key. It is very important that these creatures are in the correct physical location as they reflect the environment. So since all the reflectors are with open G center, that's the most important thing. If they're in the correct place, they're in the correct environment, and they will meet the right people, which will show them the right direction of where to be and who to be, what to identify with, who to love, what to love. And indeed, be the right community and environment to be reflected. Roughly, there is like one reflector on every 100 people. So you see, they're very rare, and they are here not for one person, they're here for the majority, for the society, for the group. At the end of the cycle, or perhaps many cycles, the reflector may have a sense about their decision. So it is important, especially if you are parents of reflector children, that you allow them to feel and sense and sensor and take probes of the environment several times before they have to take a decision. Take them a lot of time before they have to take a decision where they want to go to a holiday, which school they want to go to. Better go several times to that school so they can feel the environment on different occasions, or the kindergarten or whatever. It's super important for them to love the space they live in. They're with open G, so they have to like their space. Otherwise, they cannot be themselves. They cannot relax enough to be themselves. Reflectors are here to be a little bit withdrawn and be like not in the whole shall we say pot, but a little bit outside, because otherwise they identify with everything. So they have to be a little bit separated, alien to the whole thing. It's correct for them to not be completely involved, but a little bit withdrawn and not taking things personally, but impersonal. Otherwise, they lose objectivity. They're here to be the ultimate judge, so they should not involve themselves, be in the hodgepodge of things. They need to be a little bit above and being able to watch, to observe, without being pushed to take decisions, and also without themselves getting involved and getting um, in the center of everything, trying to shepherd people. No, the reflector is here to uplift the other by reflecting them so the other could see their uniqueness, their value, and to ultimately love themselves. So when you're with the projector, you can easily fall in love with yourself, and the projector also falls in love with themselves. So it's a win-win situation. If the projector is um, calmly self without the cacophonia of all the not self screams of the 9 open centers or undefined centers trying to be the voices, the lobbyists who interpret from place of luck and a place of scarcity and not enoughness, like something's missing, completely chaotic in the expression and feeling of the world. The projector is able to distort practically every energy center, every energy hub. And when they're tuned into their authentic frequency, the different perspective they can give to the person. So they reflect the energy with a little bit altered perspective, which is brought by their definition, by their dormant gates, which are awakened in the communication, the relationship, and the involvement with the other. When you interact with the other, the reflector can feel and reflect how the other is, because depends on what is the definition there. Reflectors' ultimate possibility is to uplift the other. And when the reflector is in the right environment and the environment is healthy, the reflector is also feels good, surprised, finds new and uplifting things or uniqueness, whether it's good or bad. And when the environment is unhealthy and homogenized, the reflector doesn't feel light and feels disappointed, drowning in information, frustration, angriness, and bitterness all around him, which disappoints them a lot. They're here to be the ultimate wow machines, especially the 7 years they are, the first 7 years, because everything is surprise, surprise, wow, 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 this world. And then it becomes like, wow, 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 because it's an ugly world. It's not easy to reflect and give higher sensation, higher energy, frequency, uplifting, and higher consciousness when you have to deal with so much pain and disappointment and ugliness in this world. But at the end, we're not so bad. There is beauty as well as ugliness. There is light as well as darkness. We live in a duality. And the reflector ultimately reflects that, like the moon reflects the light of the sun. And the backside of the moon is always dark. So there is this mystery there. And always comes the time when the backside of the moon is lit. And we can see what comes forward and what is cast a light on at the end of the lunar cycle, when there is clarity. For the reflector, this moon being, this cold, reflective, and reflected white light, which can be a guiding light. You know, the moon and the path it makes, for instance, on the water, or when it's full moon, there is a moon path. The reflector can show us, can light up some, point out some things. Be very wise. With 9 open centers, you can become very wise. So Lunar Authority, it's about waiting out the cycle of the moon so as to get those probes, those measurements. And although your Teflonic aura does not let the conditioning forces stay and stick, the information that you get from those small probes with your aura during this month or 2 or more, as much as you need, will give you the needed clarity. And if it was not for you, it will just disintegrate and disappear within this month. Then it was not important. That much about the Lunar Authority. Still, the wisdom is in the body, When you have clarity, there is no nervousness in the body. There is really clarity. It's a good idea to, by the way, have that diary or write down when things happen and you need to take a decision, so that you see how things change every day. Your perspective changes. Who am I today? Who are you today, dear lunar being? If you would like to learn more about the other authorities, you can subscribe to my channel. If you found this video interesting, I would love if you like it, if you share it with somebody who might need this information. And if you want to comment, I would love to hear what you have to say. Are you with the Lunar Authority? Are you a reflector? It's a very rare thing to meet reflectors. Let's see how many passed my channel. Please let me know you were here. Show me the dark side of the moon. This is Veronica from Human Design Journey. And if you would like more, you can visit my website, humandesignjourney.com, Facebook or Instagram with the same name. And you will find more, and I'll be back with more eventually. So see you soon. Bye for now.